Hello, everybody. It's Becky here at X Creations, and I just came on. Hey, Kathy. I just came on so that we could maybe do a quick Dirty Dozen background. I think I need to chop this one off. Let's see. That's better. Somewhat better. To do some postcards for Valentine's Day. And I know Valentine's Day, everybody thinks about Valentine's being, just for couples. And I want to change it to where we're thinking about just love in general and the love of our friends. So I'm just going to do a background for these postcards, and I'll have 8 postcards. So I'll send 7 out and I'll keep 1 like I always do. So I have some prompts kind of in mind that I would like to do to create this background instead of pulling prompts and all of that. So to start, everybody needs to get 3 or 4 Valentine type stamps out. I got me a scrap piece of paper here. I can write my prompts down. I think I forgot to put the ones in last week or the last time we did a Dirty Dozen or a Pick 10. I put me an arrow here to remind me that I need the images to go. This is the top and it's the long ways up. So I get them all pointed in the right area. So prompt 1 will be cover your page with stamped images. With stamping. I'll just put with stamping. And if you don't want to use rubber stamps, you can use something else. But I'm just going to use these 4 and just randomly cover the whole thing. Hi, Diane, 57M. You're new. Welcome. Hi, Shelly. Hi, Janet. Hi, Danny. So these postcards are going to be more for friends, not couples. It's just love of friendship. So I'm just like, I'm going to use all of these, but I'm going to use one at a time. This has never been used before. So let's stamp it off on my drop paper until I can get it loaded up. So the first prompt will be cover your page in stamping. And I am going to go off the page a little bit here and there. And if you don't want to do Valentine's, you can choose a different holiday. Whatever you want to do for your theme. But we have Valentine's is just coming up, and I thought that could be fun to do. And Scott worked a half a day today because I messed up and got the primaries on the wrong date. But it worked out okay. He and I went to lunch at a nice little restaurant down near where he works. It's a small town, and they've got 2 of the best restaurants. And they're right across the street from each other. One's called Poncho's, and the other one that we went to today, for the life of me, the name of it's gone out of my head. So I can't even tell you what it is, but it was very good. All right. And since this stays on, I'm not too worried about cleaning that off right now. So put some hugs and kisses on it. Hi, Holly. Hi, Dawn. All of these stamps have never been used. I'm going to have to take my sweater off. I'm burning up now. I cannot get my temperature right. I'm either too hot or I'm freezing to death. But we went thrifting, and we'll see what time it is when we wrap this up. I might show y'all what I got, or I might do a separate video for that. Thanks, Janet. I just thought it would be fun to do some postcards. And I got my happy light in, and I've been using it the last couple days, and I think it really does help. So if you have trouble with the seasonal depression like I do, January is the worst month for me. I don't know what it is. I guess it's longer, darker days or whatever, but I just struggle in January. Maybe I just need to plan to take the first part of January off every year so that I don't overdo anything. You know me from Tiffany's Quilting Life. Okay, cool. I think I just subbed to Tiffany's Quilting Life. This one I have used before, but I think it's been a while. I've been participating in the quilting, now it's APQ, and you choose 12 of your unfinished projects. And I haven't finished mine that I chose for the one. They told us to pick 12 unfinished projects, and at the beginning of each month they would draw a number from the 1 through 12, and whatever you have listed as your unfinished project list at that number is what you're supposed to finish up. And I have a little sunsuit. I think it's in a size 3, because I chose projects, not just quilting projects. I just chose 12 unfinished sewing projects that I would like to finish. So I need to do that. And then I saw on Facebook, somebody had posted that tomorrow's stay at home and sew day. So I think I'm going to sew tomorrow. And work on that little sunsuit. I don't know if my niece can wear it or not. So I might have a sunsuit that I'll give away. We'll see. But it's a size 3 toddler. Hi, Cheryl John. Hi, Joan. We're on the very first prompt. So if you're just coming in and you want to play along, all you got to do is cover your sheet with stamping. This one's never been done before. I'm going to flip this over and see if I can get it going good. Because, you know, when you got a new stamp, before you can get a really good stamping of it, you need to, what do they call it? You need to prep it by inking it up really good and stamping it off. I might have to put a piece of foam under here to get this to do properly. Hang on, let me grab some foam. I just got craft foam here that I slide under. We'll just slide that under. And it doesn't matter if your stamping overlaps either. Don't let that bother you. Because basically we're on prompt 1, and we're going to put a whole bunch more on here. And a lot of the stamping might not even show by the time we're done. That sounds good, Kathy. Kathy just used hearts all over hers. I was trying to think we should do everything dry for the first 6 and then add things after that that are more wet. So let's see. Let's see. For the next prompt, I need to move my phone because I need to get the bottom half of this page. I also wanted to show how to do it if you just have a few things. So if you don't have 4 different stamps, you can do like Kathy did and just choose a stamp that's kind of Valentine-y, like hearts, or a stamp that says love. You could have just stamped the love all over it, and then it would just peek out here and there. All right, I'm going to call that good. Set the stamps aside. All right. Let's add lines for the next one. And you can add your lines any way you want. Prompt 2 is add lines. And remember, just add them any way you want to. So I'm going to get, I think I'll just add some lines with this. Add lines. See here. What else can we talk about? I got really sick when we were down at the house. I don't know what came over me. It was almost like I had food poisoning. When I first started working at Michael's that first year, I got hired to be seasonal help that first year. And I was working at the register, and it was Black Friday, and they had gotten some food in from a restaurant for us to have at lunch. So none of us would have to leave the building. So the store furnished lunch that day. That way we could be available if, things went crazy at the registers or whatever. Well, after I ate, I just got to feeling so hot and just feeling so bad. And then it was almost time for me to leave, but I had some time left, and I said, I'll come back and work some more, but I just need to step outside because I just feel so hot. And there was a lady came out the store, and she said, do I need to call an ambulance? And I tell you what, I just got sicker and sicker. And I apologized to my boss. I said, Claude, I don't know what's wrong, but I feel so bad. And then it just got worse and worse. And I ended up having to call Greg and Scott to come get me. And Greg had to drive my car home. I couldn't drive. I was so sick. I thought I was just going to die right then and there. That was just horrible. Food poisoning is horrible. So for the longest time, I wouldn't eat in that restaurant at all. All right, so I added lines. Hi, Sharon. Hi, Ray. We're getting quite the shadow, and I don't know how to fix it. Let's see. Okay, so let's see. Add lines. Let's add some red hearts. Add red hearts. And I'm just going to use a marker. Add red hearts. Now, if you wanted to punch some hearts out and glue them down, you could do that. I'm just going to draw some. I'm hoping this marker's still all right. It's pretty dry. Let's see. I think I have another one. Not in there. Where did I do with those? They're in here. Let's get this red out. I'll do some red hearts with that. This is what happens during a live. I start pulling everything out, and then by the time I'm done, I have this huge pile of stuff just sitting here next to me. Sharon says, slow down. So prompt 1 was cover your page with stamping. Prompt 2 is add lines. And now prompt 3 is add hearts, add red hearts. Is it going to bleed through? That's the thing. Doesn't look like it. Sharon Mary used to tell me to slow down. And then she said, then I just said, I'll just write them down and I'll catch up. And that's what I do when I do prompt sessions with other people, is I just have me a pad next to me and I just write them down, and then I just catch up as I can. Might make some small ones too. So Dawn Andres is all settled in her new house, and I got a postcard from her and sent her a welcome to your new house and adventure. And I was tickled to death. I saw she posted today that it was a miracle that she moved from one state to another and nothing broke. Nothing broke at all. I'm sure I'm probably going to have some breakage because we'll be moving things several times between getting it out of the house down there and into the storage unit. And then when we find a house, moving into the house, and we'll see. And remember that this is a background. So just be random. Just be random. Don't try to come up with a page unless you're doing a page. But this is meant to be cut up and turned into postcards. And if you have any excess that you trim off when you're done, Dawn above. Hang on. Let me see. Hi, Jaretta. Dawn. What kind of paper are you using, Aunt Beck? It's mixed media paper. I got a pad for Christmas from Scott. It's just the Strathmore's mixed media paper. This is an 11 by 14 sheet. And I figured out I can get 2 5.5-inch cuts this way, because the postcards are 3.5 by 5. So if I do them 2 this way, cut this in half, and then cut my 3.5 the other way, I can get 4 that way. So I'll get 8 postcards out of an 11 by 14. And I like the 3.5 by 5-inch size for the postcards. And see, now I'm getting chilly again. My body just doesn't know what it wants to do. It's crazy. Went and got all my hair cut off the other day, and it feels great. I'm just getting to where when I'm sleeping at night, I cannot stand to have my hair get in my face. So I told Scott, I said, I'm going. I'm getting all of this cut off. He said, that's okay. You do what makes you happy. Remember to always put some of your designs off the edge of the page so it looks like it's been cut from a big piece. So you can put half of the hearts on this side and the other half on this side, maybe. Maybe some go on off the bottom. I'm trying to just make sure I don't turn it so they're upside down at all. Maybe add some tips at the top. All right. I'm a speed demon at these, you guys. So just so you know. Thank you, Janet. And the paper pads, if I'm not mistaken, are on sale at Hobby Lobby this week. I think it's the Strathmore and the Canson are 40% off. So it'd be a good time to sneak out to Hobby Lobby and get you some. I might back out just a little bit so my whole sheet is on. I had come in closer when I thought I would be doing it the other way. There, that gets it mostly on there. All right. You done making dinner? My husband's never really been one to care what length my hair was. He wants me to be comfortable. All right. Yes, sneak out is right. It's tax time. All right, so we've done those 3. Let's do number 4. Let's add pink. Add pink. And it can be any kind of pink. You can use watercolor, you can use acrylic, you can cover the whole thing, or you can just stencil. Just add pink any way you want to. You can even use a marker and add pink. So I think I'm going to get some sprays and spray mine. The spray will probably move, but it'll be all right. Because I know I have pink spray. Whoops. Let's see here. Pink spray. Can't get any pinker than that. Now, I need my piece of material that I cover the computer with. That ain't it. Let's see. I put my piece to cover the computer up. So good. I'm just going to use some of this Heidi Swap Color Shine on mine. Cover my computer up. Just add some pink any way you want. I'm going to turn this so that it's Sharon said, pink, ew, just do it. It won't matter. It'll probably be buried under like 6 or 7 other things because we're only on prompt 4 and we got 8 more prompts to go. Probably painting my phone. It can be any shade of pink too. It doesn't have to be pink like cotton candy or anything. If I remember right, if I don't wipe this, she says, I'm doing it. Diane says she loves her some pink. And I forgot it was Beth's night, but I'd already said I was coming on. So sorry, Beth. I haven't been doing the felting stuff with her because I just haven't had an interest to do that. So this just gives everybody a different option if they don't want to do felting. It's like Mary says, you can't control when everybody else is on, and we're going to have overlaps. Whew, I'm going to have to dry that. So heat gun alert, as Mary says. And I know that this particular pink, even when I dry it, it moves around when I add wet stuff to it. So this will help spread color all across this, I'm sure. I might get another piece of paper to pick some of this up, just a scrap paper. Let me grab a scrap out of my bin under the table. The under the table bin. Here we go. This is just one that I've picked some gold, yellow, and black up with. I'll just use that to pick some of this up. Always have you some scrap paper where you can do this kind of thing, because then you can create some other kind of paper to do something else with later. I think this was not actually cardstock. It's that paper that comes, you know, as a protective sheet sometimes. I think that's what this is. See, now I got pink, black, and yellow and gold on there. Looks pretty cool. The eel pink has been added. Woo! I like the cleanup paper just as much. I'm going to set that right there so I can add more to it. All right. All right. So the pink has been added. So prompt 5. Let's see. What should we do next? These are for Valentine's after all. Let's stencil with, let's see, stencil. I'll just put stencil, and you guys decide what you want to do. If you want to add more pink, you can. If you want to get away from pink, add something else. It's up to you. But I'm going to grab a stencil. I've been cleaning up and putting things up, and then I can't find it on myself kind of situation. But I am going to add more pink because they're Valentine's. So I'm going to use a baby pink. I'm going to use poodle skirt pink. And I'm going to get, if I can remember what I did with it, I got a bunch of new doily stencils in that I want to play with. So I'm going to get one of those out. Let's see, which one do I want to use? They're all pretty. Let's use this one. They came in a set, and I think there was like 8 or 9 stencils, and I got them on Amazon, and that was one of them. That's just pretty. So I always start off the page. So let me, this doesn't matter directionally, so I'll turn this back this way. So you guys stencil with whatever you want. Might turn that upside down so that that paint will go to the other end. I didn't bring my jug of water in here to drop my sponges in. But these stencils, it was a set of stencils. What I'll do is I'll go into my past orders and I'll look them up and I'll put them in the description box. I ordered them. I paid for them. It's not anything I'm getting paid to advertise. You know what I'm saying? It's just something I really liked. And I'm pretty sure they came off Amazon. I don't think they were a Wish purchase. I'll search it out and find them for you guys. But there was a lot of the stencils in the package. It was 8 or 9 different stencils. And I'm kind of wiping this instead of patting it, just so I can get it on here. We get done here, I might run get me something to eat. I didn't want to cook. I made myself a bowl of oatmeal for supper. I'm still hungry. Scott said he felt so weird going to work later, and his boss called and wanted to know when he was going to get in, because he said he was taking a half a day because his boss wants him to work on a new piece of equipment that his boss has been designing and putting together, a piece of testing equipment. So Scott was going to have to go in and do all the troubleshooting work on it for him. See, I think I'd like to do this with the pink and then maybe come back in with cream on top and just move the stencil over a little bit so that I have cream and pink. And what happens when I use the cream on the spray, it'll come up into the cream paint. Well, thank you. I will be surprising 7 people. I'll have 8 postcards. I always keep one for myself, for my postcard collection. And then I'll just pick 7 people that are probably 7 people that are here. I'll look and see who was here participating in chat, and I'll mail postcards out. The reason I like to do postcards is they only cost, I can't even remember, what's a postcard stamp? Because it's pretty inexpensive to send a postcard. I'm going to run and get the cream paint here in a minute. So I'm going to be stenciling for a little while. And I want to use the same stencil, mainly because I'm feeling lazy today. And I only want to clean up one stencil. Isn't that awful? I'll have to look. This might have been a Wish purchase. You have to watch those Wish purchases, because if you've ever ordered from them, if you don't pay attention, you can end up paying a lot for postage. Get this pink on here, and then I'll go get some cream. I'm just going to use the same sponge. Yes, I'm feeling that lazy today. You know, it would be really pretty. I'll tell you what the next prompt will be, because when I go get the cream, I'll go ahead and pull this out while I'm over there. Is let's add some flowers off a napkin, preferably roses if you have them. Scott is here, tool using primate. Hey, babe. So after we do the stencils, let's add napkin. And y'all can add whatever kind of napkin you want. I'm thinking of roses, and I might pull them apart, use a paintbrush to go around each of the flowers. So I can just use a few roses here and there, probably about 7 or 8. Use 8. And make sure I get 1 rose on each postcard. I haven't shared my haul yet, Scott. So they don't know about the neat thing you spotted for me today. I thought maybe after I finish these postcards, I might share at the end what we found. We'll see what time it is. So I'm going to go get the cream paint, and I'm going to see if I can find a napkin that's got some flowers or roses or something on it. And I'll need, let's see, what else will I need while I'm up? My glue brush, some Mod Podge, and the napkin. I might have the napkins right here behind me, though. I'll find them. When I'm doing these, I do not plan ahead. I do them right along with you guys. So when you have to go hunt something, I have to go hunt something. I don't, even when I'm trying to do it without just pulling from sticks or whatever, I'm kind of trying to plan it so it'll turn out to look Valentine-y. I still wait until I start with you guys so that we're all on the same page. All right, let me go get some cream, some napkins with flowers, glue brush, and Mod Podge. Cream paint. Mod Podge. Glue brush up here. All right, there's my glue brush, the cream paint I want to do next, and the Mod Podge. Just need a napkin. Talk amongst yourselves. Oh, come on. You gotta have something with flowers on it. I don't think poinsettias would work. Well, I might have to just grab whatever I can find and use it. I might have used all my roses. Bear with me. I'm working on it. Aha, I found the roses. Y'all are probably going, where'd she go? Where'd she go? Oh, those would be pretty. Let's use those. Okay. Got something. It took some digging, but I found some stuff. Okay. The napkin police are on vacation. You use what napkin you can come in contact with, because see, I got carnations, not roses, but they're still kind of pink. I know Dawn at Let's Make a Mess, she just gets her lip on it and it just comes apart and it's just not doing. Uh-oh, are we fighting over here? Who needs to go in timeout? Hi, Kendra. You can use rose stickers if you want to. If that's what you want to use. I'm not holding y'all to the prompts. It's just a suggestion. Do y'all do that sometimes? Tear the napkin just so you can get it started to separate? Because this is aggravating me. I still need to do my cream paint. There we go. You take all of the white off the back of the napkin so you end up with just this. Because if you don't, what happens is they divide on your page and then you have a real mess. And usually I will take a wet paintbrush and just go around each of the flowers. But I'm just going to tear these apart and stack them up over here. And these are actually, Scott and I went to one of our favorite little thrifty antique shops. And I mean, we hadn't been in there 5 minutes and the power went off. And then there was a loud boom. The entire town of Pickens was out of electricity. So we said, well, we're kind of hungry. We'll go get something to eat. And we told her we might come back by and see if the power was back on. But Scott wanted to take a nap, so we didn't go back by, which was fine. We'll go another day. Maybe we can go over the weekend. But she had, see, she couldn't have rang us up or anything, and it was pretty dark in there. Once you got back behind the first row of, it's one of those that was divided into different vendors. And once you got about 4 or 5 feet back away from the windows, you couldn't see anything anyway. But I found a candle holder there I'd really like to go back and get. And Scott found a little hammer I think he would like to get. But the candle holder was so cool. It had a base. And then it had like a lampshade that went over, and it had 2 lions on each side. And it had all these cutouts for the light to come out like a lampshade. It was so pretty. It was $15. I'm trying to take off as much of that yellow as I can. I'm not big on yellow. Mary and Sharon are probably a lot alike when it comes to pink, because Mary's not particularly fond of pink either, as far as if she could say it was her favorite color or not. I know she says she likes all colors, but I also know that she really doesn't care too much for pink. Right, Mary? All right, I've got these all tore apart now. Let me get back to my cream paint, and I'll stencil the cream on, and then I can plop those down, and it won't take me very long because they're already divided up. There's Mary. I have done up some packs of napkins. So if somebody needs napkins, Kendra, I'll send you a pack of the pretty napkins I've put together if you'd like some. I had all these packs of napkins, and I just went through and I kept some for myself, and then I made up packs to sell or trade or whatever. And then I said, no, I'll just take that down and just do them as Happy Mail. So I can send you some. It'll have to wait till next week before I can mail them, though. Kind of figured Scott would sneak in here because I told him I was going to go live tonight. I think he's glad that I'm feeling well enough to be live again. What are we doing? Roses go good with Valentine's. Yeah. Carnations, a lot of people do carnations, like if it's for a friend's Valentine's, and that's what I'm aiming for these to just be postcards of love for friends. Because, a lot of people get upset about Valentine's Day, but it's supposed to be the holiday of love, not necessarily love for a domestic partner or a boyfriend, girlfriend, but just love in general. And I think there's too much pressure put on people to go buy stuff and all of that. And it's supposed to be for, couples, but it can be for your friends and family. I mean, you can send a Valentine to your mom and tell her how much you love her, or your sister, or your brother, I was thinking I might do some more some Valentines that are a little bit more juvenile for my nieces and nephews, and so they get something in the mail from me for Valentine's. It's kind of hard to see where I've been. You see how that pink is mixing, and it's even mixing more with the spray pink. That Heidi Swap ink spray stuff is fun to use. It's just you've got to be prepared to see it show up on anything else that you add when you're using it in mixed media, because I want to say rehydrate, but that's not what I mean. It kind of is and isn't. It will spread when you add something wet on top of it. Hi, Tanya. Sharon says, I love my napkin you sent me. Beck, I love you. Aw, thank you. I think I got enough paint in here. I can do a couple more spots. You can hear the paint going squish, 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 squish. The one thing I did forget to grab when I was in the kitchen is my purple vase I fill with water to throw paintbrushes and sponges in until after I sign off. So I need to run get that so I can put this sponge in here. Let's put another one down here. When I run do that, that'll give me time to let this paint dry a little bit, and I might hit it with a heat gun. And then I'll do my flowers. All right, so I'm going to let y'all watch paint dry, and I'll be right back. right, so let me hit this with a heat gun. My thumb just split open. That hurts. That's one thing I hate about winter. That hurts. It just splits. It's not bleeding or anything. It's just sore. Oh, what's Tanya say up here? Your sound's working again. Aren't these computers crazy? Samantha Owens. Hello. Oh dear. Well, I hope it'll work. We'll be up here this weekend, so I might can play along on Sunday. You see how that stamping is all kind of gone to the background, but it adds just little hints of black here and there. All right, so we'll add our napkin now. Sharon's probably all caught up with me. Now I'm behind. Ooh, that burns. My poor glue brush. One time the water all dried up and my brush was hard as a rock and glued to the bottom of this. I just dumped some Murphy's oil soap in there and let it sit, and then it's soft again. Some Cetaphil. Mary Hill, hey! Are you staying warm up there? All right, so I'm just going to put some of this on. You can see how that's that Heidi swap is moved there. Probably contaminate my Mod Podge too. My flowers are just disappearing because of that Heidi Swap stuff, but it'll add something, whether it's bright or not. That's another question altogether. I'll look at chat here in just a minute. I get to concentrating and then I forget to talk, and y'all are probably just chatting away at me and I'm just in my zone. Oh, my nose. My grandmother would say, company's coming or you're going to kiss a fool because your nose is itching. My grandma had a saying for everything. If any of my son's friends are watching, go ahead and say hi. I know he's got several friends that like to come and watch me, and they tell Greg, I watched your mom, but y'all never say hi. I'm going to use all of these flowers because they're tore out anyway. That way I can be sure there's some on every postcard too. And maybe some that are visible, because those light pink ones just kind of went in the background, didn't they? Let's put this one here. I've got one more flower. Maybe down here. Do some of it off the page. And then I think I'm going to pull this off from here. Maybe. And then see, I can use this. Oh, my stomach's growling. Shh, be quiet. We can use this up here maybe to add a little bit more color. And stick this strip along up here. I'm just concerned because this one is, the lighter pink ones just disappeared in here. So we'll just add a bit of color like this. All right. Put that back in its water. Okay. Let's add music paper or book pages next. So prompt 7 is add book pages or music. Book pages or music pages. I think I have a piece of tissue paper that might look really pretty. It's got writing on it. I think that's what I might use. Hang on. I got to go back to the closet and dig. Hang on. I don't think I want to use one that's talking about delicious fish and chips, though. Well, maybe I'll have to revert to the other idea. That piece of tissue I was looking at using talks all about fish and chips, and I don't think that goes for Valentine's. I have another bin that has book pages in it. I just cleaned, so, I cleaned. I cleaned, but not all the way, so it's not completely done, so there's things hiding somewhere. What did I do with the bag of books that was for just tearing up? There they are, under the chair, under Howard's chair. Whatever I get, we're using. It is a dictionary. Let's see here. Well, I've already ripped out the page that said love on it, so I'm just going to rip out a couple pages and just use them. I'm just tearing the edges off, and Jerry Bellini saves all the little edges, and she uses them to write words on, which I think is a cool idea. You know what I could do? I could take and fold these and tear hearts out and put a heart on each section. I've got 2 pages here. So let's see here. If I fold those in half, rip it in half, that gives me there. Let's fold it this way. And then pull it this way. Let's see if I can let's see if I can tear out hearts. They don't have to be exact. Looky there. There's 1, 2. It's easier if you start at the point, but this one looks like it's wanting to be easier by doing the top maybe. And I could save the little bits and use them on something else. Okay, let's see what we got here. So now I need to do 2 more, right? No, I need, okay. Sharon says her roses are done. Now she's moving on to the next. Well, that's where I am, Sharon. So you're right on time. Oh, that doesn't look very pointy. Let's put those back together and see if I can do. Let's see. I'm just trying to tear hearts, and it's making 8 postcards. We were telling Scott's sister about the stockade antiques. So the next time she comes up, I'm hoping she'll come up so we have time that we can take her to the stockade just for something fun to do. All right, I moved this around again just so I can get the sizing, because my postcards are going to be 3.5 by 5. So if I put one there and see where the 5.5 would be and kind of eyeball it, I could always get my ruler out, and then that way it would be sure to be in the right place. These don't really look. Let's fold that back in half and see if we can take that hump off so it doesn't have to be perfect, but that was irritating me. There we go. And let's see here. I think that'll be a little better. All right, so if I get my ruler, which I just had, making lines, what did I do with it? I'm just gonna kind of eyeball. So 3.5, just seeing if I've got it in about right. So there. Then come down 3.5. Up a little bit on this one. I think that'll be pretty good. They don't have to be on there perfect. I just want to make sure they're fully on each postcard. Oh, thank you, Ray. All right, so let's glue these hearts on here. And you'll see the pink's going to come on my book paper now because that spray, it moves all over once it gets wet. There'll be a tint of pink on these. I guess that's all right though. Of course, if I wanted to, I guess I could center these on the postcard instead of having them off to the side. But I always like to put like a little quote or something. See, there goes that pink. That antique place we were at today, she said it's antiques and gifts. And I got to thinking to Scott, I wonder if I could rent a booth there and sell my handmade items. I'll have to look into what all I would need to do. I just don't want to make my art into a business because it wouldn't be fun for me anymore. If it's work, it's not fun. But if we ever got in a position where we needed me to do something like that, I would. I just, kind of takes the fun out of it when you have to make something all the time. And when I have those bouts where I just don't feel like doing anything, that's hard to get yourself up and make yourself do. It's like they always tell you, your mental health will be better if you got out and exercised. Well, when you're in a down in a hole, and that's what it feels like. When you're down in a hole, you don't feel like going out and exercising. I always want to just say, well, you can kiss my, you know what? I am just not up to it. I'm not. And Scott will tell you, I'm hard-headed. If I don't want to do something, I am not going to do it. I'm just not, because I was forced to do things when I was little that were not appropriate. So I just don't let anybody dictate how I live my life anymore. There we go. All right. I shouldn't wipe that on the edge of my Mod Podge. Now I'm going to have pink in my Mod Podge. All right. So let's dry this because it's starting to get kind of soggy. I love to go to Pinterest and snitch quotes, and then I create sheets on my computer of quotes, and then when I need quotes, I just print them off. But I didn't do that today. Just trying to get it dry enough that I can use a pen on here. Got several people in here in Arizona. I'm in South Carolina, originally from upstate New York, the green part of the state of New York, not the city. Think cows and green pastures. That's where I came from. dry. Don't feel sticky or wet anywhere. All right, now what I'm going to do is number 8 is going to be outline something. So outline something on your page. I'm going to outline my hearts. Outline something. I'll just put outline something. And you can either outline your flowers or you can outline whatever you just did with your book pages. It doesn't matter if they're a shape or not. If you do an outline around them, it makes them stand up off your page. So just choose something on your page and you can use anything. I might use a graphite pencil or a marker. I think I'm just going to use a Bic pen. That's something I learned from Dee Dee Willingham. Just plain, this is a Bic type pen, but this is the kind I got at Dollar General. And it will write on paint. It will write on this. It should write on this. And I just want to do a kind of a scribbly outline around my hearts. You just kind of go around it a couple times. And I might just do this to make it, fix my boo-boo on it. I'm not being perfect with it because I want it to be kind of a scribbly heart. I even added some little doodly bits there. I like these now that I'm decided to do that on them. I'll probably keep that one because it's not as neat looking as these other ones. Because I went the wrong way with that first squiggle. But that'll be the one I keep. But yeah, a Bic pen is amazing. It's hard to believe that something like that would, write on stuff like this, but it does, and it's an inexpensive pen that just adds so much. So if you have never watched Dee Dee Willingham, you need to. She gives you lots of really cool tips. And just watching her work is fun too. Did you all see Dee Dee's walking around getting stuff at Hobby Lobby? The napkins for the flowers was number 6. So number 1 was cover your page with stamping. You can use 1 stamp or up to 4 different stamps. Prompt 2 was add lines, which I just added some pen lines here and there. In fact, what I might do is come back in later and bring some of those lines back to the top with my pen. Then we added red hearts, which you can hardly see now. Then we added pink, which I did with the spray. And then we stenciled. And then we added the napkin. And prompt 7 is book pages or music paper. And now we're outlining something on our page. So that's all of the prompts. I will try to do better about getting these prompts added after we sign off. I think I still need to add them to last week's. Sometimes scribbly lines are just what something needs to bring it back to the surface. We lost a member in my quilting group. She passed away last Saturday. The lady that did all the beautiful applique, we lost her. I'm going to miss Anne. Never got to meet her in person. I've met Diane in person. Her and her husband were traveling back from Florida, and we met up for dinner. And it was like we'd known each other forever because we've been in those quilt groups together forever. So it's fun to finally get to meet folks. It's a really fun thing. Yes, she got some ink there for, it was the acrylic ink, right? And it was, oh, I can't remember. It was a lot cheaper than it normally is. Carolyn's RV Life just put up another video. If y'all don't watch Carolyn, she's pretty interesting to watch too. She's currently traveling abroad. All right, so has everybody outlined everything? See all this napkin hanging off. I'll trim it off later. Do I need to wait a minute and let you guys catch up, or you got them written down? Yeah, $1.74. I know, it was crazy. I wanted to run down there and see, but I had promised to come on here, so. I know, it was crazy. Cornville is a little town without the corn. It's a nice town. All right. Let's see. What do we want to do? Number 9. I'm looking at this, trying to think of what it could use. What should we do? Let's add dots. Add dots. You can stencil dots. You can put dots on with paintbrush. I think I'm going to get a acrylic paintbrush, and I think I'm going to get some black and do just little dots of black paint. But you can use whatever color you want. I'm using black. Maybe, if I have some black. Is this black? It says it's pure black. Pure black. This is that paint, though, that sounds like it's solid in here. Like it's just shifting from one end to the other as one solid mass. Let's see if we can get some out of here. Oh, it's working. Good. I'm just put not the brush side, but the back side, and I'm going to do dots. Oh. Add dots. It's the little things that you add. Even if it's just a little mark, it's a little mark that you added, adds interest. So after we get to number 12, if you look at yours and you think it needs a little something of you added, go for it. You know, even if it's just an additional little line or something. You be you. You add you. Trying to get my mother-in-law interested in looking at videos on YouTube, but she just doesn't seem very interested in it. I say, well, give you something to do if you know, you can learn all kinds of stuff on YouTube. She said, I'm 92 years old. I don't need to be on YouTube looking at that stuff. I said, well, there are a lot of people your age on the internet. She said, I don't think so. I said, you'd be surprised. All right, I'm going to dry this. If you didn't want to use paint, you could have used marker or whatever. You know what I think this needs? All this pink? I think it needs some gold. So let's add gold circles. For number 10 is add gold circles. Add gold circles. And you can add them any way you want to. I think I'm going to go and see if there's an empty toilet roll in the trash in the bathroom and use it to make circles. If not, I will use my curlers that are in my bin. That might be easier for me to get to is my curlers. I'm just going to use the smallest one. Or you could use a straw if you want just real small circles. I need gold paint. Gold. I like that. That's really shiny. The extreme sheen. I love this stuff. It feels like I need to get some more of this 24 karat gold. This stuff is amazing. I love this stuff. Well, Holly, it kind of sounds like you got somebody close by you could craft with. We have a new community center not far from the house, and I've been thinking I could stop in there and see if they'd like somebody to teach card making or something. If you did circles with a straw, you could say they were tiny champagne bubbles. Tiny bubbles. Of course, now it looks like I've put gold rings all over it, doesn't it? Oh, well. I think it's still pretty. If you wanted to stencil with black instead of add black dots, if you're not that far, you could do that too. That would be pretty on here. I'm going to do a couple more this size, and then I think I'm going to switch to the other. Because I'm going to chop this into 8 postcards. So some of these rings will be on one postcard, but not on the other, and that kind of thing. All right, so we only have 2 prompts left. And I think what I would say is let one be add border, and then the other one add sentiment. So you can do those in either order, you know, whichever you want to do first. Like I said, I don't have a sentiment picked out. But I want to dry this really well. Where's my piece of paper I was using to clean off on? We'll set this aside real quick, and I'll bring this paper back up here. Just kind of roll this off. Maybe pick some of this up. I'm not going to waste that gold paint. Just pick it up on something else that can be chopped up and used in another project. I think that's how this other gold got on here. See? The camera doesn't like the gold flicking about. All right, so I'm going to dry this and trim it and cut it into cards, and then I'll add a border and a sentiment on these. And we'll do that. How funny. Surprise, Arizona. That's kind of interesting. Yeah, that's what I was thinking, Danny, is they look like gold rings. Not my intention, but it's what it is. Yeah, that one I'll definitely keep for myself because the swirly giggy things on it aren't as pretty as they are on the other ones. Surprise is where you go shopping? Cool. I tell you what. Well, I'm going to let this dry on its own for a minute, and I'll show you guys what we got thrifting. How does that sound? So the last 2 prompts are going to be add border and add sentiment. And it can be a short one-word sentiment like love or in loving friendship or anything you find that you would like to add to the front of your postcards. Sentiment. I guess that looks right. All right, I'm going to show the biggest thing first because Scott said, "Hey, do you see what's over there on the bottom shelf?" And I'm like, "No, what?" He said, "Come on, this way." He said, "Now turn right." Nope, turn left. Right there, bottom shelf. I was like, "Okay." Look, I can't get it all on here. Lee Ward's all-purpose quilting frame. I got it for $4.89. I don't know if it's all here, but it sure feels like a lot of stuff. And it says fits quilts from crib size to something size. That part of it got pulled off. So I'm hoping all of the pieces are in here. If not, I have a handy husband that will make it work for me, I'm sure. So for less than $5, I got a quilt frame. Let me pop that up there. Then we went to another one and I got this fabric. It was $4 and it's like 7 yards of fabric, but I thought it was really pretty. It is a polyester cotton blend though. So I don't know if I'll use it on a quilt back or not. I'm thinking on it. Let's see. What else? What else? What else? I'm going to bring the rest of it over here. I got 2 skeins of the Fisherman's Wool. They're full skeins. I got them for $3 each. They're normally $11. So I got those. And then I spotted these, the little swivel glides that you nail into the bottom of a chair. They were $1 a package. So Scott said, we'll go ahead and get those and I'll add them to my hoard or stash. And I have, I bought a pattern off Ravelry for a sampler Afghan. And I was thinking of doing it in these wools. I've been buying the wools, the true wools that are 100% wool, in the hopes that I'd get enough to where I could do a sampler quilt in all the different shades that the wool comes in. And it would be a super warm throw that we could have at hand for winter time. And then I just got a few doodads. I got another little mini photo book for 89 cents. And I like these. I saw Cindy Utter use these for her little stencils. And I've just been copying Cindy. And I've been getting them. And I've got these that I was sent. And what I wanted to do is get them off this ring and put them in here. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to keep, I shouldn't have pulled them all off the ring just yet. I'm going to keep this and this so I can use this. Oh, this is a stencil. This is a, what's that called? Oh gosh, I can't remember now. The opposite of stencil. And I'll just put this in here and put the 2 pieces together. Mask, exactly. So I have the stencil and the mask for each one in a pocket. And I can finally get these put in where I can utilize them. I guess I could just pop them all in here real quick and just not bother taking them apart just now. I liked having them on the ring, but then when I start taking them apart, that I would lose the mask. So I said, I'll just get another little brag book, and it works perfect for these smaller stencils. Got a peace sign. So excited about that. Thank you. For sending this to me. Was it Danny or Kendra that sent me these? Wish I had a better memory. There's a moon. And what I'll do, I need to do this for all my smaller stencils, is cut some paper to fit inside these pockets. and I'll just stencil out the shape, and that way I can remember what goes where. I have some other small stencils, but I think I set them aside somewhere else. So that was a nice find, and I like that it had butterflies on it. And then I got some flat clothespins. Look how thin they are. There's 3 rows of them in here. And I thought how fun these would be to make little dollies out of for 89 cents. And I got some more cheapy colored pencils because I was using my, I think I showed that to you guys the other day, the Neo Color 2s in my comp book. And they're beautiful to add the color, but you can't, the writing kind of just does weird things on it. So I've switched back to my cheapy colored pencils, and these are the pages I've done the last couple days. And this is for the comp book 2020 with Dee Dee. And then this one I finished yesterday, and then this one I finished this morning. I just drew a flower pot and put some lavender and chives in it. And then I found some little sketchy pictures of different herbs. And I kind of like making the little peekaboo stockinette type stuff, like it's peeking through the page. And then this one I just started. So that's why I went ahead and picked these up. I'll just add them to my jar of cheapy colored pencils to use in that journal because they work so good. And I can write on them with the big pen. And then the last things I got were this little gnome. I know he came from the dollar store because the dollar sticker's still on it, but I got him for 50 cents. He was the only one that looked really lifelike, and I need to come in with a small paintbrush and just touch up around his eye, but I just really liked him for 50 cents. Might stick him in a plant out front. And then I got myself another one of these little separated tubs, and these can fit over the tops of my craft paint things I picked up at the thrift store, and I can put excess paints or larger bottles in this on top of that. So that's it. That was my hurlage. Let's pull this back up, see if we can chop it up yet. Still looking a little wet here and there. Yeah, that quilt frame was just, I just couldn't believe it for less than $5. Hopefully everything's there. They had it taped up pretty good. I'm going to go ahead and trim this napkin off from here. Maybe I'm going to trim the napkin off. And I think once I get them cut apart, I think I'm going to do a black line border about a 1/4 inch away from the edge on them all. And then I'll have to find me a sentiment. Once the sentiment and the border are on, I will generally clear coat them all by rolling clear coat on instead of brushing, especially with the spray that gets all reliquefied and makes a mess. The brush you end up with brush strokes. If you use a roller, it just kind of spreads it around smoothly. I might have to hit the edges of these with sandpaper to get the rest of that napkin off. I don't know if I can get this in my cutter. I don't even know where my cutter is. Right by your leg, Becky. Well, let's see. If I cut this at 7 inches, that would be 3.5 and 3.5, right? Slide this in here. Try not to hit my paint. So do. Hopefully I'm getting it right. So if I cut that at 7, Then I can do the 3.5 and 3.5. And then this way would be 5.5. And there's the first two postcards. Probably getting paint on the back of it. 5.5. Oh, that one's still wet. Got gold on my finger. I'll cut this at the 3.5. Because the postcard size I'm going for is 3.5 by 5.5 inches. You could even revisit with your stamp, whatever you used for your stamping on the very back page. You could use one of those to add a sentiment like that love. If I stamped it on some white paper or something and put it right there, would work. Uh-oh. Still wet. Oh, well, I'm getting wet paint all over my cutter. I'll have to try to clean that off. All right. Let's see here. Three and a half by 5. So there's my 8 postcards. This one might be juicy enough to do it. I'm trying to find the ones that are closer to being dry than the other ones. And then I'll get my ruler that I've already got all messed up. And I was thinking I'd come in and just do a small line, but I think I'm going to do along the edge. Like this is my border. No, not as juicy as I thought it was going to be. There. Maybe it just doesn't like the gold paint. Maybe I'm getting gold paint on it. Who knows? This is a Sharpie, and it's not liking that spray. That's what it is. Let's see if I can wipe some of it off from there. It's not liking it. Usually I can get a nice dark line around the edge. It's just not liking that spray is on there, I guess. Or maybe it's time for a new Sharpie. Let's see if the cheaper pen will work better. Let's see. This is pretty dry, I think. That one might be dried out too much too. I keep trying until I find one that's juicy enough to give me a nice dark line around here. That's a little better. I just like to frame it out. I'm probably spreading gold all over the place because I think it's getting on the back of this ruler. I'll look at chat here in just a sec, guys. All right, that one needs to have some more napkin trimmed off this edge here. And on the back, I just draw the lines that divide one side from the other, and then I just hand write postcard along the top, and then I just put a message and address it up and drop it in the mail. There is a rule about the thickness too on the USPS website, but mine are never that thick. And then I'll take and I'll do the edge like this, just so you don't see the white paper on the edge. And if your backs get too gummed up, you could always glue another piece of paper around the back if you wanted to. I don't really worry about it. It just shows that they're handmade if they've got the, the added bits here and there. So that's what mine are going to look like. And I'll add the sentiment. Oh, does this need anything trimmed off it before I have to do double the work? Let's go ahead and make sure they're all trimmed before I get too far into it. I just don't want any of that napkin hanging off to catch in a machine. I was worried the postcard I had sent to Danny had gotten lost, because I'd sent one to Dawn Andres and she had said she got hers. Oh, and I have Happy Mail. I forgot I have Happy Mail too. Hi, Barnyard Chicken. I'm going to do all of this first. Trim all that napkin away. Let's see, is there any on that one? Nope. That one's basically ready for a sentiment. That one looks pretty good. Nothing hanging off that one. Ah, this one's got some issues. Oh, this one's majorly got some issues because I must have been crazy when I did this. I would try to just trim it, but I'm afraid all this paper gets stuck in a machine. Got a little heavy-handed, I think, on this one with the Mod Podge. And I will be clear coating these, so that'll be another layer to hold everything together. I just want a nice, neat finish. I've been watching all the homesteading folks getting ready to plan their gardens out, getting excited about the abundance time. Roots and Refuge was talking about it on her channel, and then another lady was talking about it. All right. Enough. Thank you, Violet. Danny said something above. Aw, you're welcome. That's why I like to send them as surprises. You just never know when one might pop in your mailbox if I have your address. Man, people are just flying by again tonight. I need me one of them signs that has slow children and pets. Stick it out front. Probably wouldn't do any good except give them a challenge to. That crazy old lady's got that sign out front. Well, it is 25 miles an hour in the neighborhood. They going by a lot faster than 25 miles an hour. Whoops. I'm just coloring the edge. Trying not to do that, but it happens. Like I said, that just shows it's handmade. And the one that I keep, I list the prompts that I used. I put all the information on the back of the one I keep, and then I list the people that I sent the cards to, so I can remember who I sent to in case somebody asks about it. That's the one I'm going to keep anyway, so it's okay that I gummed up the back a little bit. Woohoo! Sharon, you'll have to put a picture up in the group. Thank you, Janet. Oh, Jaretta, send me your address. I have most everybody else's in here. Here's my email. I'm sure they're gorgeous, Sharon. This is the fiddly bits like this that bog me down. I just get going on this, and then when I'm doing this kind of stuff, I usually put something on Netflix that I've already seen, like, a million times or something. And although I've been watching Voyager on there the last couple weeks, and I'm seeing episodes I never saw on TV, but then we haven't had a television. We haven't owned a TV in years. So I probably missed a lot. My son always talks about how he feels like he needs a TV just so he has something to talk with people about because everybody else watches TV. I say, you're a grown man. You can go buy a TV and watch it if you want to. You can pay for the cable. I said, I just don't think there's much content out there that's worth paying the cable company bills for, to be honest. Scott wants to go see that movie about Harriet Tubman. And I think it's already left all the cinemas around here. He was talking about it again with his sister yesterday. He really wanted to see that. I'll have to look around and see if it's still playing anywhere here in Greenville. Because we're off this weekend from working on the house, but Scott's got some car repair he needs to do on his car. And I really need to get the gutters cleaned out up here. I bought this gadget that you put on an extension pole that's got like these you pull on the pole and it closes the little arms, and then you can lift the leaves out. But Scott's got to put it together for me. And we'll just leave that here for his sister, because if I had my way, I'd never have gutters. I hate them. All they do is collect leaves, and then makes you have something else to do. just put diverters up near the stairs, and then clean up around underneath the eaves when the stuff blows off the roof. I think they're just another headache. You can just get those diverters and put them on the roof so that you're not getting poured on. My mother-in-law just had a new roof on in her house, and they didn't put diverters over her entry. So when we went to leave, not last time, but the time before last, we got drenched because it was pouring rain and it was coming off her roof right onto the front steps. I guess the guy decided she didn't really need diverter up there. I got it on Amazon. I'll try to put a link to it in the description box. It comes like as a kit, though. You have to have an extension pole that you would have to buy separate, or if you've got one from some other thing that's kind of the workings of it, like one of those tree trimmer extension poles, you could reuse that if you have one. Scott and I are big on using what we have. So I need to try to find the link to the stencil set that I got, because that doily stencil set, like I said, it was 8 or 9 different doily stencils, and they're all gorgeous. I'll find out where I got that from. It was either Amazon or Wish, and I'll put that in the description box. I'm going to do that right after. I'm going to go in, I'm going to put the prompts on, and I'm going to put those links in. All this little fiddly bit work. Now, if you wanted to add even more interest, you could doodle maybe in gold on the black around the edges. You can do so much more to bring all the details out. Ooh, I'm getting, oh man, oh no, I don't. It was napkin bits sitting on my pants. I got paint from the walls down at the house on these leggings I'm wearing, and I just got them. I said, I knew I should have went and changed. I should have went and changed in my ratty old clothes. But Scott was in there, and I just started working alongside him and forgot to change. I was like, doggone it, ruined another. I can't have nothing nice. So if people see me walking around, I'm going to have paint on me, whether it's art paint or it's wall paint or something. I just seem to be determined to have all my clothes covered in paint. It's just a natural way of me. And when I put my clear coat on these, everything will be glossy because I have a gloss finish that I put on. So, everything will be shiny. If I already had a sentiment pick, oh, you know what I didn't do on that one? I didn't go like this. If I already had a sentiment printed off, I would glue it down and put the clear coat on so y'all could see what it would look like. But I don't think I have the kind of sentiment I want already picked out and printed off. But if you're ever looking for sentiments, go to Pinterest, man. They got some beautiful sentiments on there. And I did forget, I went to the grocery store and I was just thinking, because I'm getting a sore throat from talking, I guess. I forgot to get sugar-free cough drops. Went to Walgreens and I got my eye vitamin that the eye doctor wants me to take, and I got some more fish oil tablets that my doctor wants me to take. but I forgot those. I love jewel tones too. I had a friend once, and she redid her dining room chairs, and she replaced all of the seat colors with different jewel tones. So like there was emerald and amethyst. All of her chairs had a different seat cover on, and it just looked so cool. If y'all have never watched Betsy Doodle, she is a hoot to watch, and she is so sweet. She's been doing some paper feathers lately. But if you ever catch when she's just chit-chatting and she's in her room where she has all the teacups hanging from the ceiling, it's something amazing to see all those teacups. She's got them. There must be hundreds of teacups on her ceiling, just on cup hooks. And then she has fairy lights in her living room. And it just looks like it would just be a fun house to go visit and, you know, just chill, and you could be yourself. And I just love that. I love that Dee is Betsy Doodle. Her real name's Dee, but she goes by Betsy Doodle on her channel. That's her channel. And she is a hoot. And the feathers she's been doing are amazing. And she did some projects. I'm just doing a shout out, I guess, of channels I've been watching. She did this hanging pocket thing that she used the cuffs off the rubber gloves you use to wash your dishes, you guys. It was so cool looking. She comes up with some crazy ideas that she tries, and they come out so cute. And when she shares them, it's like, man, that was a good idea. So don't be afraid to step outside the box and just use your products different than what they think they were intended to be. Because she's come up with some really cool things. Who else? If you're not subscribed to Sonia Step2, she's in Australia, and she is an amazing sewer. And she comes up, she's done crazy quilt stitches, and she's got the most beautiful projects on her channel. Never heard of Betsy Doodle or Sonia Step2? They're both great. Betsy Doodle is in UK. Dee is in the UK. And she was taking us on walks. And they have the public walkways that you can walk across farmers' fields and things like that. And she would show us the sheep and the different things in bloom there for a while. I don't know if she's just not walking now or decided that wasn't a thing, but I enjoyed going for a walk along with her. Wish I had somewhere in the country to walk. I'm afraid to walk here in the neighborhood because they drive so fast. I'm afraid I'm going to get hit. Or Bernadette will get in the way of somebody going too fast. I had a nightmare about that. Here comes somebody else flying up the road. I told Scott I want to live on the end of a dead-end street where there's no people just driving by day and night. We have people drive by here in the wee hours of the morning. They probably work at a hospital or something. Or somebody's doing food delivery in the middle of the night. I don't know. There'll be people going by in loud vehicles with their radios up loud at 2 a.m. I'm like, it's 2 a.m., guys. Even we're trying to get to sleep. That's about our normal bedtime is 2 a.m. So about the time I'm finally getting good to sleep, that's when Mary gets up. Mary's getting up, starting her show, telling everybody to wake up, get up, YouTube, she says. I caught her some this morning because we got up early thinking we had to drive down to the house. And then I looked it up and I'm like, we don't have to drive down there. Today was the deadline for online registry, I think, to get registered to vote. All right, last one. There's Betsy Doodle's channel. I love Dee. She's a sweetie. They're probably sleeping over there right now. Now, I've had some folks trying to friend me that I don't recognize their names, but they're friends with some of my other people. But I don't generally friend husbands, acquaintances of the male gender, because I'm a married female and I just don't go that way. I just don't. I just don't think that's right. And it wouldn't be right for me to be friending all these men I don't know. It wouldn't be the right thing to do in my mind. The only one that I friended was Mark Muir. But we know Mark from on here in his crafting channel. So what I will do now to finish these off is I'll go to Pinterest. I'll find a quote that speaks to me about love and friendship. And I will print a sheet of them off, not just one or two. I'll do like a whole page of them. And I have an envelope that I keep all the sentiments in that I can like dig through if I need one really fast. And then I'll just cut it off in strips and put it on here and maybe outline around it. And then I'll clear coat all of them and they'll be done. And I can mail them out. So I hope you guys had fun. I don't know what else I would do. Oh, you know what? I'm going to turn these and I'm going to open this envelope I've got here that's been sitting here waiting for me to open. I'll keep that one with the weird things, but that's those. But this came from, I think it's from Finland. Yes. And I think I'm not sure who this is from. I don't know. Let's open it and find out. That's exactly how I feel. You know, my husband is my husband and my best friend, and I would never do anything to hurt him, ever. Oh, wow. Let's see if there's a note in here. Well, there's nothing on the back of that, but isn't he cute? There's a bunny with some masks. Couple gals. You make me happy die cuts. Look at the little birds. Aren't those cute? Oh, here we go. Here's a little bit of Happy Mail to you. Oh, it's from Sana. Thank you for inspiring me. Greetings from Finland. Sanya. Crafter Sana. Mantiela on. Oh, she's Troll Girl. Hey, Troll Girl, get lady. Okay, I know who she is now. Okay. And then she sent me some die cuts. She has an Etsy shop called Troll Girls Art on Etsy. So this was just a surprise. I was not expecting any Happy Mail. So we got some flowers and butterflies. Uh-oh. Butterflies. Oh, there's a heart. That could have been used on one of those. There's some music. And a hooty owl. And a feather. Oh, and a bunch more hearts. There's a heart. I might have to do some more cards and use some of these. The butterflies would be pretty on cards for friends too. And there's another one of those pretty feathers and another heart. A heart with hearts in it. It's got little tiny hearts. So that was cool. So thank you, Sana. I don't know if she's in here, but if she watches the replay, she'll see it. All right, Jaretta, thank you for stopping in. Come again next week. I'll be on next Wednesday at 3 o'clock and next Thursday at 3 o'clock. So I'm going to try to do Wednesdays and Thursdays. And we'll do a pick 10 on Wednesday. And then on Thursday, I'm going to try to have a project ready to go. And what I will do is I will list items needed on both Aunt Beck's Creations and in Phibbsville on Facebook. If I can pull it together, that'll show up. If not, we'll do something else. So thank you guys so much for coming and playing and having a good time, I hope. And I would love to see your postcards or page or whatever you did today, either in Phibbsville or on Aunt Beck's Creations on Facebook. Y'all have a good night and take care. Bye-bye.